Okay, let's talk about the reference styles, and you know this very well. When we drag the formulas, what happens, right? If I write this calculation D12 plus E12 minus F12, okay? So when we write this calculation, it returns what? The net salary there. Yes? And when I drag it down, you know this very well. When I drag this down, D12, E12, F12 will become D13, E13, F13. You know why? This is because of the relative reference style. What is relative reference style? The references will move relatively. And I hope all of you know this. Yes? And that's the reason, you know, you just drag it down and you will get the correct output for all these employees. Right? Relatively, they change. Understand, when you drag vertically, columns, when you drag vertically, rows change. When you drag horizontally, columns change. You know that, right? Anyone is very new to this process, this particular concept like relative reference style, how it changes vertically when you drag, how it changes horizontally. Okay, let me show you this then. After writing this formula, I just drag it down. Either I can use the mouse and drag it down like this, or this fill handle, this black color dot at the right bottom corner, you just do a double click there, it drags it down, right? And you look at this calculation D12, E12, F12. If you go one row down, it will become D13, E13, F13. I did not change it manually. I just dragged it down. But why it has moved to 13th row? Because in the next row, it should pick up the next employee's net salary. And if it goes to the next row, again, it should pick up the next employee's net salary. You understand? And I always say this, if Excel doesn't have relative reference style, Excel is useless. You know why? Can anyone answer this? If Excel doesn't support the relative reference style, Excel is useless. Why? Exactly. If you have 1,000 employees and you want to find out the net salary, you need to write the formula for 1,000 times. You understood? So what is it we need to do? You know, better go with the relative reference style only. And good thing is that Excel supports it, right? When you drag vertically, rows change. When you drag horizontally, columns change. Do you know what is the sum shortcut? If you want to get the sum, one thing you can write equal to sum, but there is a shortcut. Alt equal to. It is alt equal to. I want you to do one thing. Go to the reference style sheet, remove this data from here, just select that and hit delete. Clear off all those formulas there. All of you, just do that. Even if you know it, just do that. Right? Select the range, delete the range values. Okay. Now hit alt equal to in the first cell in the basic salary at the end of it. Alt equal to. Use the left hand side alt and equal to. You have alt on both the sides, right? If the left hand side alt doesn't work, then try the right hand side alt. Alt equal to. All of you got the sum there? Alt equal to. Hold both of them together. Alt equal to. How many of you got the output? Raise your hands. So you can directly get the sum. You know, you don't need to write the equal to sum formula. Directly hit alt equal to, it will get you that sum. Okay. Now I want you to do this. Use the fill handle and drag it across to the right. Use the fill handle. Drag it across to the right. And you see that we have started our formula from D12 to D17, but it has moved to E12 to E17. 12 and 17, they remain constant, but D has moved to E. You know why? Because when you drag horizontally, columns change. When you drag vertically, rows change. Very much important style. Without this, you can't do, you know, any calculations easily in Excel. Understood? Right? Okay, let's move on to the next example. Very important style called absolute reference style. How many of you know this absolute reference style? Raise your hands, please. Please raise your hands. Let me just take a look. I think good number of you don't know this. So let me cover this absolute reference style also. Okay, so how do we do this absolute reference style? Let's take a look. All of you just clear the range from L12 to M23. That highlighted range, please clear that off. Select the range and hit delete button. Okay. We have a 50,000 product price here, and with a 10% discount, you want to do the calculation. How do we do that? Equal to 50,000 multiplies star symbol, asterisk, star, asterisk. Okay. That star is asterisk. Okay. And you multiply that with 10%. Okay. What is the result? 5,000, right? And how do you find out the net price? Product price minus discount. All of you just do this calculation. I'm writing this once again. Equal to 50,000 multiplies 10%. Okay, and then 50,000 minus 5,000. All of you just drag it down, and you will only find that issue. And let me know what's going wrong there. You look at the discount. Exactly, this 10% is a common discount value for all these products. The moment you see something should be treated as common, freeze it. So how do we freeze it? Just go to that 10% cell. What is it? L9 cell, right? All of you just go to the first calculation. L9 cell, select that L9 cell. Exactly, hit F4 button. I'm sorry. Hit F4 button. If F4 is not working fine, then use function F4, Fn key and F4. Fn key is there just next to the control key. Just hit F4 or function F4, then the reference should look like this, $L, $9. Is it coming like this? Yes, how many of you couldn't get this $L, $9? Raise your hands. Okay, do one thing. I'm showing it once again. Go to the very first cell. Look at the screen. Go to the very first cell. Click on that L9. Use the mouse. Click inside that L9 and then hit F4. Either F4, it should work. But if it is not working, use function and F4. Fn key and F4. Done. And drag down that discount percentage. Discount value. Now you will get the correct output. How many of you couldn't get this output correctly? Please raise your hands. Couldn't get it? Okay, I'm repeating this once again. Are you ready with this? Okay. Is it showing K12 into L9? Yes, in the first cell. L9, is it an absolute reference that shows $2 symbols there? Is it? Is it showing $2 symbols? If not, select that L9, keep the cursor inside L9, click like this. In the formula bar, click L9, click on L9, hit F4, F4, function key, the very first row, F1, F2, F3, F4. If F4 is working, yes, okay, perfect. Is it now showing $2 symbols? For L9, $L, $9. If F4 is not working alone, then use Fn and F4. Fn key is just next to the control key. Is it working? Can you just help her out? Anyone else is struggling to get this output? Because the same F4 to be used for multiple times in the upcoming calculations, be it sort, filter, all those array formulas, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, all these things will be using the F4 key only. So I want you to practice and be ready. Is it changing from the relative reference to the absolute reference with the help of F4? Is it? Okay, perfect then. Is it done? Okay. The next one is mixed reference. Most of the participants, they get confused here. Anyone knows mixed reference here? If you know mixed reference, please raise your hand. Okay. Mixed reference is something, instead of keeping $2 symbols, we go with only $1 symbol, either for the column or for the row. I would like to show you a very easy technique to understand mixed reference. Even the working professionals, they do this mistake in using the mixed reference. But I would like to show you a simple example. I want to create a multiplication table like this. 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, right? 5 5s are 25. This is the output I want to get. Okay. So first of all, pay attention, and then I'll give you some time to write this formula. Okay. I want to do a 2 multiplies 2 like this, 2 into 2. Got it, right? Don't do it. I'll give you some time. You can do it later. Let me drag across to the right. Do you know what is the shortcut to drag across to the right? I want to fill the formula towards the right. Formula, a shortcut, Control R, fill right. Control R. Whatever the formula is on the left hand side, you can fill it towards the right hand side using Control R. See, without touching the mouse, you can perform all these things. I'll cover these simple shortcuts every now and then. So please make a note if you want. Okay, Control R is to fill right. If I want to fill down, I think you can figure this out. Control D. Perfect. Control D. Okay. But if you observe here, the calculation is not coming correct. Yes or no? I'm expecting a 5 5s are 25 here. But what is it showing? Some, good millions or billions there. I would like to show you a technique to understand this mixed reference easily. Okay. I want all of you to pay attention because this is very much needed in XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, and sorting, filtering, all these functions. I'm going to use the same technique. You want to fill this table, yes or no, with the calculations? Yes. Answer these simple questions, sir. You want to fill this table with the calculations using multiplication between this range and this range, yes or no? All these cells are dependent on this range and this range, yes or no? Yes, perfect. So write only the first calculation. Okay, just leave it there, don't drag it, because even if you drag it, you will get the incorrect answer. What is that you need to do? Very simple. These cells that are highlighted in yellow, I'll read out the cell addresses. Tell me which one is sounding common. Okay, these are P12, P13, P14, P15, P12, P13, P14, P15. Which one is sounding common in all these cells? P, right? Whatever the calculation that you wrote, just before that P, because P is sounding common, right? Before that P, keep a dollar symbol, because P is common. Similarly, all these cells are located in Q11, R11, S11, T11, Q11, R11, S11, T11. Which one is sounding common? 11, right? Come to your calculation. Before 11, put the dollar symbol. What does it mean? Anything that is sounding common, you want to keep it common in all your calculations. Now you drag it across to the right and drag it down. This is the easiest way to understand a mixed reference, when to use. I want you to give it a go. I'll give you 1 minute time. If you're still struggling with this example, raise your hand. I'll help you out with a different way. I want you to delete the values there, try this out, get the output, same like this. Write only just the first calculation, find out which one is sounding common, freeze that common one, and you will get that output. Okay, to do that, select the range. Do you know how to select? Shift and right arrow. And once you select it, hit Control R. Control R, fill right. Control R, fill right. R for right. And if you want to fill it down, Control D. D for down, down. Okay, how many of you got this output? Raise your hands. Okay, I'll give you more 30 seconds to others. Please try this, get the output. If you're still struggling to get the output, raise your hand. Okay, just now, how many of you got the output? Just now. Just now you got the output. Anyone? Okay, perfect. I'll give you more 15 seconds. Okay, this is how you're doing it. Just take a look. How do you select the range? Shift and right arrow. Is the selection made like this? Hit Control R. Yes, because you need to tell up to which cell the formula should be filled right. So you need to make the selection first like this and hit Control R. Yeah. Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed to the knowledge check? Yes? Ready? Okay. Everyone is quite excited. That means you are ready with your answers. Right? Okay, fine then. Let's proceed. Who's the last person? Okay, you're the one. I think you are waiting for your turn. Okay, please pick up the next one. All right. What is the shortcut to fill right? Control R. Perfect. Pick the next one. Maybe go to that corner. Yeah, yeah. Sona. Who's it? Okay. Uh, how can you say something is an absolute reference? Yeah. How can you identify that something is an absolute reference? We did that exercise with the discount percentage. It was incorrectly calculated. Yes. What was that? What? How do you identify? Correct. How did we do that, or how we identified that something is an absolute reference? There? How many? How many dollar signs are there? $2 signs. In our reference, if you find a dollar symbol for the column and dollar symbol for the row, that means you are making that cell as a common cell for all your calculations. That's an absolute reference. And the shortcut is to, what is the shortcut is to apply that? Right, F4, F4. Okay, perfect. Pick the next one. Pick the next one. I have a reference, $10. $10. Which type of freeze is this? So which type of freeze we call it? Row freeze. Because the dollar symbol is before the row, you need to call this as row freeze. Pick up the next one. Okay. So we know there are different types of formulas, right? If any formula asks for an argument array, what is that we need to load? Array. A range we need to load. I'd like to tell you one tip here. Why I ask this question is if any formula asks for an array, we usually freeze it. Okay, I'll show this example in the VLOOKUP formula and XLOOKUP are so many other formulas are there. Sort are, unique are, so many things. Whenever you see this word array, we freeze it. Shortcut F4. Remember this. Okay, perfect then. Are we good so far? Yes. Mixed reference, what is that? How to find out something, how you need to freeze it? Right. When you look at the range, if any cell address is sounding common in terms of its row or the column, you just need to freeze only that. How many dollar symbols you usually find in a mixed reference? Only one, either for the column or for the row. How many dollar symbols we find for an absolute reference? Two. If you do not find any dollar symbols, which type of reference style is it? Relative. It moves relatively. When we drag vertically, what all change? Vertically. Vertically, rows change. Horizontally, columns change. Are we good? Right? Now we are getting into the formulas. Now it's going to be very easy to write the formulas. I'm very much sure. You know why? The moment I open the formula, you only can figure out which one is mandatory, which one is optional. Can I load it or can't I load it and all that stuff. Okay. So let's start with the network days formula. You know what is this network days? Most of the project management people, they use this network days formula. As the name says, what is network days? Network days. Huh. Exactly. How many actual working days are there? You don't want to calculate the weekends there, right? Okay, here we go. All of you, just go to the date and time sheet, please. Date and time. Date time sheet. All of you there? Okay, I would like to write a today formula here. Tell me what is that I need to input in this formula. Why no? How many mandatory are there? No argument. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we no need to load anything there. It's just that open and close the bracket and it will give you that. Okay. So let's go to the, yes, please. Yes. No. The reason being either a formula can be dragged across to the right or down, but you cannot drag any formula diagonally. There is no option in Excel. So you need to do it twice. I mean, it's a good one. So whenever you want to drag, you may try to drag it diagonally because you want to fill it for the entire table, which is like diagonally arranged, but which is not possible. First time you need to drag it horizontally or downwards, or you first drag it down and then towards the right. Two steps you need to do. Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Now formula, is it a many argument, few argument, no argument? No argument. I think I forgot to ask this question. Out of these three formulas, what are they? Many argument, few argument, no argument. Which one is the most easiest one to write? Why no argument? See, in a formula, our responsibility itself is to provide the input. But when it comes to the no argument, you no need to input anything, right? That is the easiest one. What could be the second easiest one? Any guess? Many argument is the second easiest one. I'll tell you why the many argument is the second easiest one. If I write a sum formula, you look at all the arguments data type. What is it asking for? Number, right? If I'm going with any other arguments here like this, what is the data type it is asking? All the arguments are asking for text, right? If I go with any kind of, what is the argument data type it is asking for? All the logicals only you need to load. So understand that writing a many argument formula is easier than few argument formula. I'll tell you why. If I take a VLOOKUP formula, this is little tricky. Why? Because first one is asking for a value. Second one is asking for an array. Third one is a number, column number. Fourth one is a range, the lookup type, whether you want to do approximate match or the exact match. Understand, few argument formula is usually little tricky to write. Many argument formula, though it has got so many arguments, as all the arguments they ask for the same data type. Simple thing. You want to do the standard deviation between 25, 35, 45. Let's assume. Okay. Or you want to do the standard deviation with 45, 35, 25. Does it really matter if you rearrange these things here? In the many argument formula, as the values they all ask for the same data type, you can load the way you want. But in the VLOOKUP formula, can I interchange the positions? Like, okay, first one I want to write an array, second one I want to write the lookup value. Can I do that? No, you will have to stick to that syntax and then load the argument values carefully. Then only these things work. But when it comes to a many argument formula, as all the data types are same, you can load any sequence, the order that you want. You got the point? So now you tell me, what is the first easiest one? No argument. Second easiest one? Many argument. What is the third easiest one? See, all of you agree that the third easiest one, that is easiest one, right? Okay, fine then. Let's proceed to the next one, that is network days formulas. Network days and workday formula. I think you can easily write this. Many argument, few argument, no argument. Few arguments. How many? 3. Mandatory? 2. Optional? 1. What is the first argument asking for? Start date. It is asking for, please input a date here. Okay. The date is here. I want to write this equal to network days. Okay. What is it asking for? Start date. I've started a project on July 1st. I started a project on July 1st. Okay. Comma. What is the next one asking for? End date. I completed that project on July 19th. If you look at the number of calendar days, how many days I spent? It looks like I spent 19 days on this project, especially useful for the project management people and all. Okay. How many working days are there to plan for the workforce and all? We do these calculations. How many working days are there? If you look at actual calendar days are 19, but how many working days are there? If you just close it. Okay. Can I close this formula without loading the holidays argument? Why? You all know that it's an optional one. Let's close that. And what is it saying? It is saying you only spent on this project 15 days. Why is it saying 15 instead of 19? Because exactly there are 2 weekends which are nothing but Saturday, Sunday. Altogether 4 days are subtracted from the total 19. You worked on this project only for 15 days. All of you just go to E10 cell, E10. Cell E10 in the date time formulas, delete the formula, write your network days and find out how many working days are there. If you get the output, raise your hand. Got it? Got it. Go to eat and sell. Write the network days formula to find out how many working days are there between July 1st to July 19th. You look at the arguments. It's asking for start date, end date, and the holidays. Holidays you can skip it because it is an optional one. Write the formula and raise your hand if you're done. Okay, excellent, excellent. That's a good count. Please help your friends also. I'll give you 1 more minute. 7/1/2024 or 1/7/2024? No, no. Okay. So a good question again. In your system, okay, in your system, this 7/1/2024, how many of you see this as 7/1/2024? Raise your hands. 7/1/2024. So that means your systems are using MMDDYY. Beginning of the session, I told you. And rest of you all, you see the date as 1/7/2024 because of your system date format. Okay, your system date is set to India date format. So nothing wrong if your system date is set to US. You need to read this as 7/1. Others you read it as, or you see this as 1/7. But both of them are July 1st only. Okay. Now you understood. 15 days. All of you got that output. 15 days. 15 days only. Okay, you tried the network days international also. I'll come to that in the next example. 15 days, all of you got it? Right? If you go to, yes, please. Today it is showing? Okay. Okay, so take a look at this format. What is it showing here? Is it showing custom? Right? Do one thing to find that out. Okay, it's a good one again. You may find the differences in the formats. If you find any anything is not looking okay as per the system date format, if it is showing custom, just do a right click and go to format cells on the cell. Right click on the cell wherever you're finding incorrect format. Go to the just right click on the cell and go to format cells. In the custom, I think I would have applied MDYYYY on the screen. You can see that, right? You just change it to DMYYYY and it will come back to your India date format. Looks like I applied a custom date format. That's the reason it is showing you two different formats there. But in a new cell, okay, to fix this issue or to get rid of this issue, you do one thing. You go to any new cell, any other cell, you write equal to now in any other cell. It will come as per your system. Only this cell I formatted, it seems, but otherwise it will give you as per your system date format. Clear? Excellent then. So network days, all of you done, please. Sunday. Good one. See, in this example, we used the network days formula and it is automatically excluding Saturdays and Sundays. But the question comes, what if I'm working with a company where the working days are from Monday to Saturday? Sunday is only holiday. Or if I'm working with a Middle East company wherein Friday and Saturday is a holiday, right? Then if this is the case, how to handle this situation? I'll answer this in the next example, but I need to show one more thing, that how to exclude the holidays, right? Let us complete this exercise also in the network days. Equal to network days, and you know this very well. Start date is this, end date is this, and holidays, I have holidays this. Can you tell me what could be the output? Is it going to show me as I am subtracting 4 holidays, 15 minus 4, 11? Is it going to show me? No. Why no? Why 30? No, they are not Saturday, Sunday. July 4th, July 10th, July 24th, and August 10th, they are not. Look at this. Your project itself ended on July 19th. And what is the point of subtracting July 24th and July 10th? Yes or no? See, this is a very smart formula. Even if you load the entire company holidays list, It only considers the dates that are falling within your project dates. Very, very useful formula. Okay. Now you see, it is showing 13 days you worked on this project. In the project costing and all, you need to use these things. Okay. How many working days are available? How much, the workforce that we need to arrange there, right? What would be the costing? How many working days and how many holidays are there, and everything you need to calculate there. Okay. All right. Are we good with this? Just include the holidays list also, the range, and see the answer is 13. Yes, working. Can I load one more argument? I want to load one more argument. Okay. Comma. Can I load one more? No. Why? It's a few argument formula and I cannot go beyond 3 arguments. And even if I try to load it, what will be the error here? Exactly. I've loaded too many arguments there, right? Understood? Everyone okay? Now the question came up like, what if I have only Sunday holiday or Friday, Saturday holiday or Monday, Tuesday holiday, right? Then that is why you have another formula, network days international .intl. Okay, so in this example, I'll show you how you can use the network days international. Equal to, all of you just go to E11 cell and delete the formula E11. Just go to E11 cell. Now the question comes is, okay, what if my weekend is only Sunday? Saturday is working for me. Okay, then what I'll do is network days only, but you have network days international. Okay, I think you all of you can easily write this. Start date, end date. It has an additional argument to decide your weekend, right? So what is the start date? This is the start date. What is the end date? This is the end date. Now you see the third argument. If you do not give anything, because it is an optional one, look at the third argument. Is it a mandatory one or optional one? Optional one. If you do not give anything, by default it goes with the one. What is one? Saturday, Sunday only by default. But you are only saying your weekend is only what? Sunday. Choose that Sunday number. How much? 11. That 11 is for Sunday. And if you close this, now it is showing 17 days you spent on this project. Now you got it? Right. In 2007 version of Excel, you don't have this network days international. From 2010 version of Excel, you have a network days international formula, because Microsoft considers all our feedback. You can, if you are looking for a new formula and which is useful for most of the users, they can even implement those formulas. But 2007 it doesn't have it. 2010 onwards we have this formula, network days international, wherein you can control your weekend. That is like an optional argument, an additional optional argument that we have, right? Is it fine? Okay, but I got one real-time business use case. Okay, one of the bank managers attended my session, and that person's question is this: Indian banking system weekends, correct? All Sundays are weekends only, but they have that second and fourth Saturdays are also weekends, right? There are 3 ways you can achieve this output. One thing, manually count it. That's the way. I told him, he said like, no, I don't want to do it manually. Second thing, write an email to Microsoft. I said, yeah, Indian banking system follows, this is the way, and can you implement a formula, network days Indian banking system, so that it automatically excludes the second Saturday and fourth Saturday in the calculations. He said he's not ready for it. The third way is you take Sunday as the default weekend. All the second Saturdays and fourth Saturdays, you list them down in your holidays. I mean, in the entire calendar, you know what are the second Saturdays, fourth Saturdays, right? You just list them down in your calendar and you can always use that. You got the point? So there are workarounds for this. You just need to, figure out a way. All of you, I hope, understood what is a network days formula. I'll ask you these questions after the lunch break, because you are in the flow and you all can easily answer now. I know that, right? So after the lunch, during your sleep mode time, I'll ask, right? And so that we'll get a group dance performance here. Okay. Let's move on to the work day. Network days, how is it working? If you give the start date and end date, it is letting us know how many working days are there between. Workday is useful to project for a future date. Like if I'm starting a project on July 1st and I get 10 days time. If I do a simple addition like this, July 1st plus 10 days, what is it saying? By July 11th, I need to complete the project, which is incorrect. Why? Because in 10 days in a business, if they say 10 days, you need to consider 10 working days. By, you need to exclude Saturdays and Sundays there. If you want to do that, I want you to go to E13 cell. Let's try this out. E13, all of you just go to E13. E13 cell, delete the formula there. Delete the formula. Equal to workday. I think you can write it. Okay, so don't write it. Look at the syntax. Just open equal to workday. How many of you are confident that looking at the syntax of the formula, yes, I think I can load these values and get the output? Raise your hands. Yes, I can write it. Excellent. That's a good count. Please proceed, write it and tell me the answer, please. If you have a start date July 1st and you got 10 days time, what is the date it is showing? 15th July. It is not showing 11th July, 15th July. Why? Because in 10 working days, how many weekends will come? 2 weekends, nothing but 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays, altogether 4. So July 11 plus 4 is going to be July 15th, right? Can I skip the last argument? Holidays? Yes or no? Why? Optional. Are we good? Excellent. Include the holidays also and tell me what is the date it is showing in F13 cell. All of you just go to F13 cell, delete the formula, include the holidays also. Holidays are here, J9 to J12. Include the holidays. Is it showing 17? Yeah. Can you load one more argument also? Why no? Exactly, it is a few argument formula with the maximum of 3 arguments. Okay. Let me tell you the business use case of the workday. You give a call to a customer care, a banking customer care, okay? And you raise a concern and they said this is going to take 3 business days, they say. Right? This is going to take 3 business days to resolve your issue. Yes? You call upon, let's say, Friday, and they say that, okay, this will take the next 3 business days to resolve your issue. By when you can expect that resolution? By Monday? Exactly. You need to count Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You cannot count Saturday, Sunday there. You got the point? They use the workday formula only. Whenever they log a ticket, they mention the number of days there and they will be counted as a business days and it shows the next working day, right? So that's how it goes. I hope all of you understood what is the network days and workday formulas. Now you get a question. In the workday also, what is the default weekend it is considering? Saturday, Sunday. But I think you know a way if you want to consider only Sunday. What is the formula? Workday.intl. Right? Do one thing. Complete that workday international. Find out, the what is the date we need to complete the project considering Sunday only as weekend. Sunday only weekend. Find that out. Sunday only the weekend. 15th, is it showing? I know it can't be 15th, right? It should be 12th. Sunday number is 11. 12. Are we good? Now you're getting the idea like how to write these formulas following the syntax? Yes. Okay, let us proceed to the next one, date diff formula. Again, very much commonly used formula. This helps us in finding invoice age or experience of a person or age of a person, different kind of things we can do. If all of you are ready, we can proceed to the next formula, date def. Yes, please. Workday International. Oh, good one. 45,488. You are also getting the same number? Okay. 40. Oh, you changed the date or something? Okay, very simple. Okay. It's showing some number, right? 45,000 some number it is coming, right? Very simple. Select that. In the number group, in the home tab, number group, change it as short date. Short date. If you are getting a number 45,000 something or 42,000 something, select that cell, go to the number group. There you have a short date. Use a short date. Yes, please. Okay, here we go. If it is coming like this, yes, take a look at the screen. Is it like this? And just go here, expand that. Okay, then I'll tell you the dates when they give you the incorrect outputs. Do one thing, just put it back to general once. Is it showing a negative number? Dates cannot be a negative number. Dates cannot be negative. Look at the formula syntax. Something is wrong there. Your start date and end date are incorrectly mentioned there. That's the reason you are getting a negative number there. I'll tell you one thing. After working with the same tool years together, I no need to come to your system to see that. There are senior doctors, right? The moment they look at your face, they tell you what is the issue inside. There are only few possibilities with a date if you are getting a hashtag. One thing, the column width is not enough. Very common thing. The second thing, when you do a calculation, if a date is coming with a hashtag, definitely there is a calculation error, and that error is because the dates cannot accept negative values. There are no negative dates. Dates are only positive. Any other issue? Okay. So what is the number it is showing? Okay. What is the formula you wrote? You tell me. Equal to network days. What is the start date that you chose there? Cell address, please. What is the cell address? The start date is there, right? You would have selected a cell for the start date, right? B. Okay, tell me what is the date there in the B14? 1st of July. Okay, 1st of July you took it. Okay, is the network days formula you are using or workday formula you are using? The formula error. See, network days is for a different purpose. Network workday is for a different purpose, right? Network days tells us how many days are there, working days between the given dates. Workday is to project a future date. If you have a certain number of working days, what the date will be. It's the workday formula that you need to use. Is it clear? Shall we proceed to the next one? Date def. To make it sound a bit more interesting, I want any of your date of births, please. Any. 3rd June. So it's going to be 6/3/2003. Okay. Okay. So let's do this calculation. If someone was born on 3rd June 2003, 3rd June 2003, dates can be used for the subtractions. Okay. If you take today's date minus the date of birth, can you do this calculation with the dates? Can you do minus with the dates? Okay, tell me something. Dates are the numbers? Yes or no? If dates are numbers, can I do these arithmetic calculations like addition, subtractions with the dates or not? I can do that because dates are numbers only, right? Okay, so if you take 9/1, today's date is September 1st minus June 3rd, 2003. It shows a number 7,761. You know what is this date? This is the number of days between these two dates. If someone asks, what's your age? My age is 7,761 days. That is the most accurate date, okay, age. But we usually don't say this way, right? Yes or no? How do we say the age? Number of years, number of months, and maybe to some extent number of days also. Let's write this calculation. How to do this? All of you just go to this range D16 to E18. All of you just go to that range D16 to E18. Clear off that range. Delete it. Hit delete button. All of you stay on D16 cell. All of you just go to D16 cell now. Right? Let us write the date diff formula. Just type date diff there. DATEDIF. Do not read it as dated if. It is date diff. It is date difference. Date difference. Yes, please. Oh, you are not getting the formula, right? None of you are getting. Even I'm not. I'm also not getting the formula. Exactly. Whenever you type any formula, it usually comes up in that syntax, right? That IntelliSense list, we call it, that syntax that appears there. There are a few formulas in Excel. Due to a few technical reasons, they have stopped supporting them. They are not present, in the Excel functions library, but they still work. One of those examples is this, and you should know this, okay? And that is the reason, as this doesn't give you any syntax there, I only wrote the syntax there. You see that? Date def, if you want to write it, how many arguments are there? 3 arguments are there. Are they mandatory? All of them are mandatory. Okay, you just need to follow the syntax. Okay, so open the bracket. Of course, it appears like a no argument formula, but you still need to follow the syntax. That's the reason I wrote it there. And I'll ask for you, ask you for the output right after this. So please write it. I'll choose a few of you and I'll ask you how you wrote this formula. So please write it and get the output. Okay. Okay, what is the first argument it is asking for? From date. Let us take the from date from here. Whatever the date of birth, if you want to input, you input your date of birth. Okay, comma, what is the second one asking for? To date. I want to calculate up to today. Comma, what is the last one asking for? Format. If you see the format examples here, either you can write y there, m there, d there. Let me write y there within the double quotes y. Within the double quotes, write y. Within the double quotes, inverted commas, write y. Yes. Let's close this. Hit enter. What is it showing here? Right. In your case, it may be a different number. Depends on the input that you gave here. Yes. What is this 21? 21 full years. But there will be a few months also, right, after calculating the full years, right? So I want you to do one thing. If you want to keep something as common, what is it you do in the references? We freeze it, right? I want you to do this. Go to that B16 cell, select B16, hit F4, select B16 and hit F4. Yes. And then select B17 and hit F4. B16, F4, make it absolute. And then B17 also make it absolute. Right, there is a reason why we made it absolute, because even if you drag it down, it will stick to the same cell. Yes or no? You drag it down and you see the same result. Is it correct? Is it coming like the same number? Yes. How many of you couldn't get the same number even after dragging it down? Raise your hands. Okay, fine then. Everywhere it is showing y only there, right? Use m there in the second one, which is there in D17 cell. All of you just go to D17 cell. Use m there. How many it is showing? Somewhere around 250, 254. In my case, it is 254. What is that? It is the number of months. If someone asks you what's your age, if you say 254 months, of course it is correct only, but it doesn't sound okay. What if you put D there in the next cell? Yes, number of days, 7,761 days. You got the point? Raise your hand if you got all three outputs: years, months, and the days. I'll pick you up because I see a lot of you are discussing a very serious issue, how to stop Russia and Ukraine war, right? Let's see. Even I'm waiting after this session. I'm waiting for a group dance performance here. For sure, this time we'll get it, right? Last couple of times, even I was disappointed because you're answering all those questions, huh? This time for sure, group dance, pakka. You will get that entertainment. Okay, fine then. Let's proceed to the next one. Yes, please. Dollar sign. Is your first formula ready? Do you see B16 and B17? Click inside B16. B16. Click on B16. Hit F4. Only one you got. Hit one more time. One more time F4. Done. $2 signs you got. Yes. Similarly, you do the same thing with B17 also, so that you will get $2 signs. Yes. You got the output now. And just change it to YMD. In the next cell, drag it down. Y. Drag it down. D. Okay. But I would like to show you something. All of you just select these three cells where you got the number of years, number of months, and number of days. It is not the right way of telling the age. Yes or no? Let's say 25 months are there. You cannot say 25 months. You need to say 2 years, 1 month. If you are looking for this kind of an output, select all three cells and drag across to the right. You should get the same numbers. You should get the same numbers. Select three cells and drag across to the right. You should get the same numbers. 21 years is okay, but when it comes to the months, you cannot say 254 months. Do one thing. Instead of M, put YM. Instead of M, in the months place, instead of M, put YM. What does it mean? Once you calculate the total number of years, how many more months are left? That's what it does. It is showing 2 months, right? Similarly, instead of D, put MD. Instead of D, put MD. It is nothing but once the full month calculations are done, how many more days are left? You see, if someone was born on June 3rd, 2023, as on today, 21 years, 2 months, 29 days, exact age as on today. This is useful for the invoice age calculations, experience calculations, all these things. We use date diff formula only. Okay. You drag it across to the right. Is it done? You dragged it across to the right. Is it showing the same numbers? Yes. There is no issue with the years. But when it comes to the months, instead of M, put YM. Instead of M, put YM. Similarly, instead of D, put MD. Is it fine? Years, it is good. For the months, put YM there. YM. Is the, okay, if you have 14 months, how many months will get into 1 year? 12 months. How many more months are left? 2 months. So whatever that leftover months are there, it is showing that number. Is it okay, everyone? You all found out your age? Excited or worried after looking at that number? Yeah. Fine, then now you know the dative formula, right? Yes? Okay, excellent. I think it's time to do the knowledge check because everyone is quite excited. That's here. What was the last question answered? I've seen a few. Yes, please. Pick the next one. Oh, you're the one. I got a project on 1st of, let's say, August. I completed that on 31st August. How many working days I spent? Write the formula, get me the solution. Okay. Meanwhile, you can pick the next one. And you got exactly 2 minutes. Who is the next one? Weekend is considered Saturday, Sunday. 1st of August to 31st August. Find out the actual working days. For you, my boss asked me to complete a project in 6 days. And the project start date is to find out by when I need to submit the project. And you pick the next one. Is that okay? The 22 days between 1 August and 31 August. Yeah, that's correct. You're right. You pick anyone from the column. Name, please. If you don't know the name, dress color is also okay. Who is that? Ashok. Uh, our company started on March 15, 2014. March 15, 2014. I want to find out how many months it's been. Write a formula how many months it's been. Month is long time. How many months? While you are writing this, pick up the next one from that formula. Who's that? Divyansh. Who's that? Divyansh. Who's that? Okay, perfect then. I have a requirement. I started a project on September 1st. Completed it on September 30th. I'm working in a physics company. Find out how many working days are there. Physics companies, they use Friday, Saturday. That's how you can convert with equal to Friday, Saturday, happy, and not you're done, right? 22 days, correct? Is it done? No? What is the time now? 111. I'll give you time till 113. And the last one, you are requirement. You done? How many months? 125. And coming to that empty and y axis. If you take template, it tells you the total number of months. If you get 15 months, 15 days, if you get 15 months, how many years and how many months are there? 15 months, how many years are there? How many months are there? 15 months are there. 15 months. How many years are there in 15 months? How many months are 1 year? Then how many more months are there? Done. What is the date it is showing? 6 days from today. You cannot use the network day formula because my requirement is not available. You still have more 30 seconds to complete this. Others, do you have any questions on these formulas? Network days, work days, and date diff formulas. Are we good? Shall we proceed? Yes. I just gave him more 30 seconds. Let him complete. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Today is the start day. 6 working days I got, and by when I need to submit the project. Workday is the formula that you need to use. Time over. Okay, the answer for this question is this. If I'm starting a project on today and I got 10 days time, I'll use the workday formula. Start date is, sorry, 10, not 10 days, 6 days I said. 6 days, sorry. And workday is the formula, start date is this, number of days is this, and by when I need to submit. Do you know why this number came up? It's there in general. I just need to change it to correct. Finally, yeah? I'll give you an exemption because you got the output. Next time, no. Okay, fine. Shall we proceed to the logical? Any questions from the date time formulas? Okay, so let's do the logical. All of you just go to the logical sheet. We'll be writing a nested if and ifs functions here. Okay. All of you just go to the range C7 to C16. C7 to C16 and delete the range. Clear off the content there. C7 to C16. C7 to C16, clear off the range. You know, we want to print pass or fail here. How many of you know if formula? Raise your hands. You please proceed, write it, get the pass or fail output. Others, please take a look at the screen. Very much important, okay? If function. In order to take the decisions and all, we depend on if function. All of you write this if function, if. Okay? It is showing 3 arguments. First one is a logical test. Second one is value if true. Third one is value if false. What is a logical test? A logical test is the comparison between two. What all I want to compare here? I have the student score here and I have the target score here. Tell me the first student, is he pass or fail? Is she pass or fail, or is this person pass or fail? Pass, right? How do we compare things? If student score, read this way. If the student score is greater than or equal to cutoff score. Please write the condition like this. If the student score is greater than or equal to cutoff score, you know those operators, right? Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Right. If the student score is greater than or equal to the cutoff score, if the student score is greater than or equal to the cutoff score, if it is true, what is it you want to say? Pass. So that pass, you need to write it after the comma, because if it is true, what is it you want to say? Pass. Else, what is it you want to say? Fail. All of you just write it. Don't hit enter. I'd like to tell you one rule here. All of you just write the formula like this. If the B7 is greater than or equal to C7, then it is pass, else fail. Okay, just don't hit enter. Hold on. I'll have to tell you one thing. You look at this pass or fail. How did I get it there? Pass or fail. Did I type it? Yes or no? That means I got this one manually, right? There. Now you close the bracket and hit enter. I would like to explain you a rule there. Exactly. Remember this rule. And I'll ask you this after no, okay, after our lunch, okay. The rule is this: if you are writing any text content manually, double quotes are mandatory. For pass, you need to write the double quotes. For fail, you need to write the double quotes, inverted commas. You just hit enter, you will get the error. Then you will understand what is that error. You need to use double quotes there for pass or fail. Okay. All right. Let's drag it down. What is the shortcut to drag down? Control D. Perfect. Let's do the control D. You got the output. Is it okay? Right. There is something wrong. What is that wrong? Very simple. You see 31 is pass. Exactly. What is the common cutoff score for all these students? C4, 40, right? Go to that C4. Do you know how to make it absolute? F4. Now you drag it down. Done? Yeah, I'm showing it once again. You got this incorrect output? Output is incorrect only, right? What is the common cutoff score for all these students? 40. Where is that 40 in which cell? C4. If C4 is common, you know this. If something is common, what is that we do? Dollar shortcut. Hit F4. You will see dollar C $4. And once you get that, then drag it down. Is that clear? Writing if function is very easy. Even I think a third class student, second class student also, if they practice it for a couple of times and they can also write it. What becomes a bit complex is the nested if. Okay. All of you are done with if? All of you done? Okay, anyone still trying this if? Please raise your hand. I'll help you out. Okay, done. I'm moving on to the next example, and there will be a small exercise after our post lunch session. I'll give you a task and you will have to complete this. Whosoever fails to complete that within the 2 minutes time, group dance for sure. No exemptions this time. I'll set the timer. If you don't show me that output, group dance pakka. If most of your people are qualified for the group dance, I'll then make it into 2 groups. One set of group will be singing, the other set will be dancing. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the nested if and ifs. Okay. Nested if and if. Why do we need to go with the nested if formula? Let's try to understand. Normal if anyone can easily write it. Because one logical test, value if true, value if false. But here the requirement is something different. The requirement is to get different outputs. You want to print the grades. Fail, C grade, B grade, A grade, are good, bad, average, are 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Different outputs you want to get. So you should get a question here, when to go with the normal if, when to go with the nested if. If you are looking for only two outputs like pass, fail, yes, no, okay, not okay, allowed, not allowed, agreed, disagreed, or allowed, disallowed, something like that. Okay, accepted, rejected. These kind of two outputs, if you are looking for, this is a job of a normal if. But if you are looking for different outputs like pass, or maybe like this, A grade, B grade, C grade, fail. Okay, good, bad, average, right? So more than two outputs if you are looking for. More than two outputs if you are looking for, this is a job of the nested if. What is a nested if? It is not a different formula. It is about writing the if inside if. I would like to show you the easiest way to write the nested if. I can also write it in a little complex way, but let us keep it very simple. How to write a nested if in easy steps. Before writing any nested if, you need to question yourself, do I really need the nested if or not? How to get that answer? If the number of outputs are more than 2, you are expecting then yes, you need to go with nested if only. Okay, I'm looking for fail C grade, B grade, A grade. Do we need nested if or not? How many outputs am I looking? 4 outputs. So definitely I need nested if. What is nested if? It's all about writing if inside if, right? So the second question comes, okay, you want to write nested if, okay, but how many functions do I need to write? It's always the result count minus 1. If you are looking for 4 results, how many functions you need to write? 3 functions. If you are looking for 10 results, how many functions you need to write? 9. It's as simple as that. Okay, if you are good with these two questions, the last one is, while writing this nested if, follow either ascending order or descending order. I'll explain what is ascending, descending. Just go to this H7 to H16 range, clear off that range, H7 to H16, clear off the range. Yes, let us write the if function first. Okay, the requirement is this. What is the first condition? If 0 to 34 is there, you want to print fail. Okay, tell me 71, is it fail? No, right? Okay, if I go to this 22, is it fail? Yes, because it is 0 to 34 range, right? To write that range, this is how I write it. Just all of you cleared off that range, right? All of you just open a normal if function equal to if, open bracket. What is the first argument? Logical test, right? I'll write the condition like this. If the 71 value is less than 35, you may get a question like your conditions are showing 0 to 34 as a range, right? But why are you writing simply less than 35? Tell me, if I say less than 35, is it not covering 0 to 34 range? Yes, it's covering, right? There is a way that you can write from 0 to 34 also you can write, but it is like little lengthy to write it. But this is the easiest way, less than 35. I am here following the ascending order in my condition. First of all, I'll deal with less than 35, then I'll deal with less than or equal to 60, and then so on. Okay. If the score is less than 35, what is that you want to print? Fail. Within the double quotes, you write fail there. And why am I using double quotes there? Because any manually entered text content must be wrapped inside double quotes, right? Within that double quotes. Okay. Just write that. Okay, if the student score is less than 35, you want to print fail. What if it is not? I want to do one thing, use a word, a random word as continue or something there. Just write a word continue. The second or third argument, write a word continue within the double quotes. Hit enter, drag it down. What is the shortcut to drag down? Control D, perfect. You see, in few places you see the fail there, right? But most of the places you see continue there. The reason being these numbers are not satisfied with your condition. If any value is less than 35, then only you print fail. Otherwise, you just proceed with continue, right? Are we good with this output? Okay, great. But the next thing is, we are not looking for continue or something. We are looking for the next output. What is it? It should be C grade. When? If it is less than or equal to 60. Then this is what I do. I wrote that word continue is because I just want to close the formula and see the output. You cannot, of course you can skip that, but it doesn't give you the right output there. Fine then. So what you can do is go to that word continue, just double click on that. Go to that word continue, just double click on that. Remove that. Remove that word continue, right? Now you write one more if function. Consider this as a brand new if function you are writing. What is it asking for? Logical test. What is the second logical test that you want to check? If the score is between 35 to 60, right? Let me write this way. If the student score G7 is less than or equal to 60, you just write this way. If the score is less than or equal to 60, if the score is less than or equal to 60, if the G7 score is less than or equal to 60, okay, you should get a question here because the C grade is exactly asking for the range between 35 to 60, right? But I simply wrote only less than or equal to 60. I did not mention anything about 35. Exactly, in your first condition itself, your 35 is covered, and if anything going beyond that first condition, that means it is not satisfied in the first level itself. It will definitely jump to the second level. That's the reason you no need to write 35 to 60. You just write less than or equal to 60 is also fine. Okay. If this is less than or equal to 60, what is that you want to print? C grade. All of you just write after less than or equal to 60, hit a comma, write C grade within the double quotes. 60, is it a manually entered 60 or is it a cell reference? Manually entered. Manually entered ones you cannot use the freezing techniques because it anyways doesn't change. Okay. If the G7 value is less than or equal to 60, comma, if it is true, what is it you want to print? C grade. Else, what is it you want to print? Use a comma and write continue. Okay. If it is false, write continue and make sure you close if once again. You should see two closing brackets at the end. Why? Because you have two opening brackets. Understood? Two closing brackets should be there. Hit enter and drag it down. In few places you see the C grades. How many of you got this output? Others, just read this way. Logical test, first one, if it is true, print fail. Otherwise, you need to write one more if function. This is how your next if function should look like. Yes, please. Okay. I'm going back to the previous formula. Is this formula ready with you? Fail and continue. Yes. Double click on that continue. Okay. Remove that word continue. Okay. Write one more if function there. If function. Write one more if function. Yes. Open the bracket. What is the second condition? 35 to 60. Then I'll write the logical test as like this. If the 71 score is less than or equal to 60, if the 71 score is less than or equal to 60, then what is that you want to do? You want to print C grade. I'm still in the second condition only. Else, what is that you want to get? You want to get continue. Make sure you close the bracket at the end and drag it down. How many of you got this continue and C grade fail? You should see in your output continue, C grade and fail. Good. Okay, great. What is the next one? We need to write B grade. I think you know the way. Remove the word continue. Write one more if function. Okay. The ones who want some support, just take a look at this. This is what I'm going to do. I'll just double click on continue. I'll remove the word continue and write one more if. What is the next condition? 61 to 80, right? Then I'll take if 71 is less than or equal to 80. What is that you want to print? B grade. Okay. You no need to write continue or something. Why? Because in this if function, how many if functions we need to write? Because we are looking for 4 outputs. How many if functions we need to write? 3 if functions. I'm already in the third if function. And I no need to write anything there. Directly I can write A grade in the last one and close the bracket. How many of you got the grades? Please raise your hands. All grades A, B, C and fail. Excellent. Please help your friends if they are struggling. If anyone needs any help, let me know. I can once again explain. Anyone got the output just now? Just now you got the output. Excellent. Yes, nice. Yes, perfect. Anyone finding this formula challenging, raise your hand, please. You're finding it challenging. Okay. What is the version that you are using in your system? 2019, right? Anyone else finding this formula challenging, writing the nested if, writing if inside if? Okay. I would like to show you a much more easier way to write this nested if. Okay. This formula is called IFS function. If you are finding the nested if is a bit complex, writing ifs function IFS is very easy. Okay. So shall we try that? You are like the easiest ones only. Earlier back in 2013 version and 2010 7 we did not have this formula, but from 2016 and 19 we have this ifs formula. All of you just clear up the range I7 to I16. I7 to I16, please clear up the range. I7 to I16. I7 to I16, please clear up the range. Yes, ready? This is going to be very, very easy, when it is compared to the nested if. Okay. All of you just write IFS, 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 ifs formula. Okay. What is the first one asking for? Logical test. This is the logical test. I'll write the condition like this. If the student score is less than 35, please write this. If the student score is less than 35. If the student score is less than 35. Okay. If the student score is less than 35, what is that you want to print? Yeah, hit a comma and print fail. If the student score is less than 35 is your logical test, what is the value that you want to print there? Fail. Don't close it, okay? Hold on. Hit a comma. Now you are going to the next argument, logical test 2. Okay, I'll write the next one. If the student score is less than or equal to 60, that is my second condition. Just write that after writing fail, hit a comma. If the student score is less than or equal to 60, you just follow the syntax, okay? If the second logical test is this, if the student score is less than or equal to 60, what is that you want to print? Hit a commas, print C grade. Double quote C grade, okay, because C grade is text content. See, first logical test is if the student score is less than 35, then fail. Second logical test is if the student score is less than or equal to 60, then say it is C grade. Is it okay so far? Hit one more comma. Hit one more comma. And if the student score is less than or equal to 80, then what is it you want to print? B grade. Close the bracket. Close the double quotes. See, you're just writing the condition and the result. Condition and the result. Condition and the result. That's it. What is the last condition? Exactly. If the student score is less than or equal to 100, use a comma. If the student score is less than or equal to 100, what is that you want to print? A grade. Just close only one time bracket. See, this is the advantage of ifs formula. You don't need to worry about the number of close brackets and all that. Write a condition, result. Write a condition and the result. That's it. Is this looking fine on the screen? All of you completed? Hit enter and drag it down now. You get the same result. See, very simple. If you are struggling with nested if, you can go with ifs. Both of them can give us the same output. How many of you got this output? Thank you. Yes, please, your question. because the maximum allowed range is 100 in the score, right? I need to write that condition also. Good one. You know, the thing is, in the nested if formula, I said the last condition you know need to check. But here we are not writing any nested if. We are writing ifs function, right? So you need to specify what is your maximum range also there. If anything is greater than 80, I can write like this. If anything is greater than 80, consider that as A grade. Fine, that is also okay. But the problem is 100. I'll tell you the problem. What if someone entered an incorrect value? Let's say the maximum allowed score is 100, but someone entered 110. Then it should automatically tell NA not available. This particular condition is not available. That's the reason it is recommended to write less than or equal to 100. How many of you got ifs output overall so far? How many of you got IFS output? Which one you find easy, nested if or IFS? Right. See, after multiple people reported Microsoft that nested if writing, ifs inside if is like little challenging, they came up with IFS. Now you don't need to worry about how many open brackets, closed brackets are there. It's just like IFS. What is the condition? What is the result? Condition, result, condition, result. You can write as many as you want like that. You got the point? Is it okay? What is the difference between normal if and nested if?
You don't have to
Right. If two outputs are there, it is a job of the normal if. Multiple outputs are there, it is a job of nested if. Okay, what is the difference between if and ifs? If and ifs. If is only for a single condition and two different results. If is for multiple logical tests with multiple results. Understood? Can you all try this? Okay, one quick exercise before we go for a break. One quick exercise. All of you go to this range D 28 to D 37, please. In the same sheet, D 28 to D 37. Okay, clear of that range. Clear of the range. Okay, tell me this. I have the actual sales and target sales. Okay, actual sales and target sales. I want to print met or not met. Comparing actual sales with target sales. Do I need nested if or not? No need. Normal if is enough. Okay, please write the normal if, compare actual sales versus target sales, print met or not met. Okay, if you're done, raise your hand. Deleted and wrote it, right? Okay, then fine. Others, as soon as you're done, please raise your hand. Okay, excellent. Yes. Okay, I get a question here. Do I need to freeze anything here? The target? Why no need? Exactly. There is no common target. All these targets are relevant. I mean, relative targets, right? All these targets are relative targets. And by the way, that met and not met, you wrote in double quotes, right? Why double quotes? Manually entered text content must be there in the double quotes. Okay, how many of you are overall done with this exercise? Overall done with this exercise, all of you? Okay, let's do one quick thing here and then we'll break for lunch. No need to do now. I'll give you only the inputs. And before we come here after the lunch, I want you to complete this. This is the exercise, okay? You just type the numbers here, 120. Just type the numbers in A, 41, 120, 45, 45, 90, 42, 12. Okay, these are the numbers. This is the requirement. Okay, anything which is above 100 should be printed as invalid here in this range. Okay, you may want to complete now or after the break is also okay. But they are the numbers. I'll pick you up randomly and I'll ask you questions. Done? How many invalid you got? Two. Two. Rest everything is valid. Okay. We'll break for lunch. And how many minutes it is? Rest are valid, right? Okay. Is it 45 minutes? Okay. 45 minutes. It's 1:45. 2:30 will come back. 2:30 will come back. 2:30. 2:30. Okay. Thank you.